Welcome, guys. Let me be your host. My name is Wetix. This audiobook tells the very first adventure of the X-Men, titled X-Men: The Dawn of Destiny. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you do, make sure to subscribe and share.
X-Men: The Dawn of Destiny. Chapter 1: The Mental Summons. Inside an exclusive private school in Westchester County, New York, the quiet of a study is broken by a singular presence. There, seated behind his desk, is a man of astonishing intellect and iron will. A strange, solitary figure who remains motionless, lost in thought, until at last he decides to act. Without speaking a single word aloud, a telepathic command slices through the thick walls of the mansion like lightning. Attention, X-Men. This is Professor Xavier. I repeat, this is Professor Xavier. Report to me immediately. Class is in session. Tardiness will not be tolerated. Never before in history has there been a class like this, nor a teacher like Professor X. The students, answering the mental summons, burst into the room in ways that defy ordinary human logic. The first to enter is a young man in a dark uniform with a silver visor. Cyclops, present and reporting, sir. From above, with a majestic flap of wings that stirs the air in the study, a noble-featured young man descends. Angel reporting, sir. Suddenly, a burly, agile figure swings from the heavy curtains, moving with animal grace. The beast is here, sir! Finally, the air turns sharply cold, and a column of frost gives way to a boy made entirely of snow. Iceman arriving on time, sir! Chapter 2: The Rigor of Training. Inside the mansion, the atmosphere is a blend of respect and restless energy. Cyclops steps forward to attend to his mentor. Cyclops. Come on, Angel, let's recline the professor's chair so he's more comfortable. Angel. With pleasure, Cyclops. We want the professor nice and relaxed while he puts us through the ringer. Meanwhile, in a corner, young Iceman can't resist being playful, grabbing Beast's arm. Iceman. Hey, Beast, come here. I want to show you a new trick I learned. Beast. Let go of my arm, you walking popsicle. You trying to freeze me solid? I like ice cubes in my Coke, not tickling my arm. Ha, with all your superpowers, you guys are still just a bunch of wimps. Professor Xavier's voice cuts straight into their minds, restoring order. Thank you, Angel. And now it's time to begin your lessons. Beast will go first. Cyclops, prepare to operate his training apparatus. Yes, sir, Professor. Everything's ready. Professor X. Allow me to congratulate you all. You're receiving my thoughts perfectly. Soon there will be no need for me to speak aloud at all. Chapter 3: Trials of Agility. Beast's session reaches its peak. His body becomes a blur of motion as he spins along a taut cable. Professor X. Excellent. Now spin. Faster. Imagine an enemy is shooting at you. You must become an impossible target. Now execute maneuver G. You have exactly 3 seconds. Beast. Got it. Beast threads through a ring with pinpoint precision. Without pause, Xavier orders the balance test on a thin metal rod that begins to bend dangerously. Good. Now hold your balance. On one finger. Hold it. You're wobbling too much. Recover quickly and land on your feet. Beast lands in a crouch, breathing hard. How'd I do, sir? You'll receive your grade tomorrow. Very good. Angel, your turn. We'll test your aerial reflexes. Mistakes are for Homo sapiens, sir, not for the Angel. Angel dives in a breathtaking stoop through a maze of moving rings, dodging mechanical traps that snap at him mid-flight. When he finishes, Iceman taunts from the floor. "Whoa, Angel, you look like a scared butterfly dodging a fly swatter." "Shut it, Ice Cube. I'd like to see you dodge those pincers." "Enough. The lesson is over. We must redirect our energies to other matters. Return to your positions. Attention." Stunned by the power of the mental command, the X-Men regrouped. Beast said, "Whew, that almost knocked me flat." Cyclops said, "Settle down and let's see what's next." Professor X said, "Congratulations to you all. You've mastered receiving my thoughts perfectly. And now I'll return to normal speech. You'll be interested to know that at this very moment, I sense a taxi approaching our front gate. Inside that vehicle is a new student, a most attractive young lady." The boys rushed to the window to watch the newcomer arrive. Angel said, "He's right, sir. Wow, she's a real living doll." Beast said, "A redhead, look at that face, and the rest of her." Cyclops said, "Suddenly, I'm in no hurry to graduate from this place." Iceman, "A girl, big deal. Glad I'm not a wolf like you guys." "Me too. Who needs extra competition from Iceman?" Angel, "Wonder what power she's got. She looks pretty normal." Cyclops said, "Okay, let's go change so we don't scare her when she sees us for the first time." Professor X said, "I believe you already suspect, Miss Gray. As you'll see, I can read your thoughts with perfect clarity, and I know everything about your unusual talent. You, Miss Gray, like the other 4 students in this most exclusive school, are a mutant. You possess an extra power, one that ordinary humans do not have. That is why I call my students X-Men, for the power that is extra." Xavier N introduced the other boys, now dressed in formal attire. Professor X continues, "And here they are. Allow me to present them. From left to right, we have Hank McCoy, known to us as Beast; Bobby Drake, nicknamed Iceman; Slim Summers, our human Cyclops; and Warren Worthington III, called Angel. Boys, this is Miss Jean Grey. She will be known as Marvel Girl." Cyclops said, "Welcome to the X-Men, Miss Grey." The boys wasted no time trying to impress her. Beast said, "Tell me, how did you get the name Marvel Girl, Miss Grey? What's your power?" Angel replied, "She's got a very obvious power, the power to make a man's heart beat faster." Beast answered him, "You know something, Warren. If I had lines like yours, I'd shoot myself." Jean Grey said, "You'll learn more about me in time, boys." Beast said, "Well, no time like the present. Come on, Slim, let's get the lady a chair." "Well, no time like the present," Beast declared, reaching for a heavy oak chair. "Come on, Slim, let's get the lady a seat." "Hank, I'd bring her the whole room if she asked," Cyclops added. "That really isn't necessary, Slim," Jean said softly. Suddenly, the chair Hank was holding flew out of his hands. The boys gasped as it glided through the air on its own, as if carried by invisible ghosts. The chair," Beast stammered, his hand still shaped as if holding the wood. "It slipped out of my hands." "Yee, good heavens!" Angel cried, fluttering his wings in surprise. "What's going on?" Jean Grey let out a small, confident laugh. "Don't be alarmed, boys. I just thought I'd save you the trouble." The chair settled gently in front of her. She sat down and looked up at the professor. "Now then, Professor, I believe we can continue our interview, as I was saying." "I don't get it, sir," Cyclops interrupted, looking from Jean to the chair. "What happened?" Chapter 4: Jean's Training and the Threat at Cape Citadel. Jean Grey, now officially known as Marvel Girl, quickly became the heart of the team. Under Professor Xavier's steady guidance, she began her own intensive training. In a reinforced chamber within the mansion, she practiced lifting increasingly heavy objects with the sheer force of her mind, all while her teammates watched with a mix of genuine admiration and playful envy. Meanwhile, thousands of miles away, in a secret laboratory near Cape Citadel, a towering figure clad in purple and red armor plotted his masterstroke. Magneto, his eyes blazing with cold ambition, watched a monitor showing the countdown of a massive military rocket. "The moment has arrived," Magneto hissed, his voice echoing with a metallic edge. "All these months of preparation are finally about to pay off. The human race no longer deserves to dominate this planet. The day of the mutants has come." Chapter 5: Baptism of Fire. Back at the mansion, Professor Xavier interrupted the morning drills with an urgent mental command that vibrated through the students' minds. "Attention, X-Men. A crisis has occurred at Cape Citadel, which leads me to believe this is the first appearance of an evil mutant. He has made his presence known, and this will be your baptism of fire. You are to go to the Cape and defeat him." "Yay, Bo!" Bobby Drake shouted, his excitement turning his skin to frost. "Action at last! Cape Citadel, here we come!" "Cape Citadel?" Hank McCoy asked, already pulling on his uniform. "The missile site?" "I wonder who this mutant body is," Warren added, stretching his great white wings. As they prepared, Iceman sped across his own self-generated ice path. "Ha! I can get ready faster than the rest of you. All I gotta do is ice up and put on my boots." Minutes later, the professor's private jet streaked through the clouds toward Cape Citadel at near the speed of sound. Inside the cabin, Warren looked around at the sleek technology. Boy, they must have used a heap of green stamps to get a chariot like this. "No joking, please," Scott Summers cut in, his voice firm and focused. "Concentrate on your powers and review the mission. Your foe is certain to be highly dangerous." Jean watched the instruments move as if by magic. "You mean the professor is guiding this plane from the ground by thought impulses? It's unbelievable." Warren gave her a wink. "Look, doll, when you join the X-Men, you realize nothing is unbelievable." Upon arrival at Cape Citadel, they found the base in total disarray. Cannons fired uselessly at the imposing figure of Magneto, who stood shielded by a shimmering invisible force field. "Cease firing, it's useless," a commanding officer ordered. "We haven't hit anything that'll penetrate that magnetic field." Scott stepped forward to address the general. "With due respect, sir, I represent the X-Men. Perhaps we can help."
"X-Men?" a soldier stammered. "What the—" "No time to explain, sir," Cyclops barked. "I respectfully request you hold your fire while my partners and I go into action for the next 15 minutes. "All right," the general sighed, seeing no other option. "We've got nothing to lose. X-Men, attack." The team sprang into action. Iceman transformed into living ice and began hurling frozen grenades at the hunter missiles Magneto had redirected. "Hang on, Angel. I can help you while they're still within range." The ice grenades stuck to the missiles' heat-seeking noses, blinding their guidance systems. "Bullseye!" Bobby cheered. But one missile kept closing in on the Angel. Beast leaped with incredible strength, seizing the projectile mid-flight and wrenching it off course. "Just wait and see, pal," Hank grunted as he redirected the weapon. Jean Grey focused her mind, catching the stray missile with her telekinesis and hurling it far out to sea. "Now I'll take it. Over the ocean," she declared as the weapon detonated harmlessly in the distance. Magneto, watching his masterpiece crumble, roared in fury. "Despite their youth and inexperience, these antagonists are mighty. I must never again make the mistake of underestimating them, but I shall still prove to be their master." He began hurling loose metal debris at the team. "See how easily I can stop your flight by magnetically hurling every nearby object which is not bolted down." The X-Men regrouped. In a desperate move, Magneto opened a rocket fuel tank and ignited it with a spark. "Not all those with mutant powers are fit to rule the Earth. You must be destroyed." "I'll cover us with an ice igloo shield," Iceman yelled, slamming his hands onto the ground. The explosion was cataclysmic, a wall of fire consuming everything. But as the smoke cleared, the X-Men emerged unscathed. Cyclops had blasted a tunnel beneath the ground, shielding them from the impact. "It means you're finished, Magneto," Marvel Girl said, her voice steady. "Cyclops created a tunnel with his energy beam," Scott explained, stepping out of the dust. "And now, it's over." Magneto attempted a final escape, hovering in the air. "You haven't defeated me yet. I can still escape you, flying by means of magnetic repulsion."
but the X-Men pursued him, breaching his force field. With a flash of light, the Master of Magnetism vanished. Chapter 6: Victory and Promise. The General approached the 5 young heroes as the dust finally settled. "Your base is operational again, General," Scott reported. "Magneto is gone." "You X-Men," the General said, his voice full of awe. "I will not ask you to reveal your true identities, but I promise you that before this day is over, the name X-Men will be the most honored in my command. America's security will never again be threatened like this, thanks to you." Back in their minds, the professor's voice returned, warm and proud. "Well done, my students. You have justified all your long hours of training, all our sacrifices, all our dreams. And now, return to me, my X-Men." As the jet climbed into the sky, carrying the 5 young mutants home, a narrative voice closed the first great adventure. The first clash between the X-Men and Magneto had ended. Cape Citadel was safe, for now, but the destiny of mutants and humanity was only beginning to unfold.